This month's theme is symmetry. When you think about symmetry, you might think of a mirror image, like a palindrome, right? A word that reads the same one way as it does the other. And there's something very pleasing about that balance. But when I think of a mirror, I think of the mirror I see at the beginning of the day that presents a very different person back to me. I feel happy, I feel very young and energetic, but I see a tired face looking back at me. It's in reflecting in that mirror that you balance the image that you hold of yourself against the image that you're presented with. To me, symmetry is less about uniformity and more about that balance that we strike. And in selecting our speaker for this month, we could think of no better person than Marc Brew. He is the artistic director and choreographer of the internationally acclaimed Axis Dance Company. And nobody understands more about finding that balance when life presents you with asymmetry. And Marc asked if we could start with a video to introduce him. Everyone, Marc Brew.
Gotta find my light. Here we go. Is this good? Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Creative Mornings, for having me. My name is Marc Brew, and I use he, him, his pronouns. I am the artistic director and choreographer at Axis Dance Company. I'm going to share with you my personal story and how, as mentioned, I've had to find that balance and that symmetry and what that means to me now as a disabled person living in this world. When I say to people I'm a dancer and I'm a choreographer, they often look at me and go, "Oh, the poor guy, he thinks he's a dancer." And I wonder why that is. I grew up in a very small rural town of Jerilderie in Australia, and I was the only boy that used to dance. So from a young age, I had to battle against being teased, people's expectations of what a dancer should be and look like, a gender of a dancer. And when I started to train professionally, I moved to Melbourne, and I studied at the Victorian College of Art Secondary School, which is like FAME. I thought I'd go into the FAME school and did dance half the day, academic the other half of the day. And I had a very formal training, and I then went on to the Australian Ballet School and the Australian Ballet Company. I thought I was going to be the next Baryshnikov. And my pathway, I always knew from a young age, I was going to dance, I was going to choreograph, and then I was going to become an artistic director. In 1997, when I moved to South Africa to work with PACT Ballet, the National Ballet Company, after a Saturday dance class that we do every day to train our bodies, friends of mine and I went for a drive to go towards a game reserve to go bushwalking, as you do in Africa. It just so happened on that day, we were driving on the motorway on the freeway, and a drunk driver had driven down the off-ramp of the motorway on the wrong side of the freeway. And as I mentioned, we were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And this driver hit our car head on. And in a matter of seconds, my life changed. I was 20. I was fit. I thought I was invincible. I was Marc Brew. I was a dancer. And then I was Marc Brew, laying in a hospital bed, paralyzed from neck down, and couldn't speak. I'd acquired a spinal cord injury at C6, C7. I had massive internal injuries that almost took my life. I had a doctor who came in and said to me, "Marc Brew, you're never going to walk again." I was like, what? Get out of town. This can't be happening to me. I'm Marc Brew, I'm a dancer. My body is my instrument, is my means of communication. It's who I am, it's a part of my identity. I was like, well, just get me back to Australia, I'll be fine. You know, I'm used to working hard, I've done it all my whole career. I'll just get back into dance class or get back into gym, working out. You know, I've had injuries before. I can overcome this one. I've overcome other injuries. But the really screwed up thing about spinal cord injury is once that injury is done, to date, there is no cure. You're then paralyzed. So my whole perception around what a dancer was is probably similar to what your perception is traditionally. It's someone who stands up. It's someone who has good turnout, has beautiful feet, flexible, dynamic. I didn't fit that mold anymore. So I first of all had to change my own perception around what that dancer was and what it meant to me. I knew that I still felt like I could dance. I felt like I still was that person. I just had to change other people's perceptions around what that was and really explore how I could find new and interesting ways to explore movement. Now, I'm not saying it was easy. It's not like I just jumped in the studio and was like, oh, I've got it. This is how it's going to work. But it definitely set my path on exploring what those new possibilities are, and through problems or restrictions or someone telling you can't do that, how you can find solutions that may not be what we regularly feel or think are the ways of going about dance. So I got back into the studio with dancers, with friends of mine, to explore what I could do in and out of the chair, how I could still express myself through movement, express emotion. I was able to build strength. When I first had my accident, I couldn't even move my fingers or my arms. And then gradually I got more strength back. That led to me to explore more range of movement, different physicalities, where I could use my body. And I moved to New York to work with a company called Infinity Dance Theatre and retrain as a disabled dancer. From there, I then moved to London to work with a company called Canduco, which is the world's leading integrated dance company. Now, before my accident, I'd never heard of what integrated dance was. I'd never been exposed to anybody or met anybody with a disability in the dance world. So this was a new journey for me to really explore what those opportunities could be and to be able to make my own pathway that wasn't what I traditionally thought it was going to be. I still want to continue as a dancer. I still wanted to be a choreographer. I still wanted to be an artistic director. That passion and that fierceness and fighting spirit didn't go away. I just had to find other ways of doing it. So after my career of working with Canduco in London, I then continued with my own work with Marc Brew Company and choreographing on many companies, both integrated dance companies of dancers without physical disabilities, non-integrated dance companies, ballet companies, contemporary companies. And each time, whenever I go into these settings, I've got to prove something. Not just that I can choreograph, but I've got to prove to someone that I can do what I do despite my disability. Because people already have this assumption that I don't know what I'm doing. Or how can he choreograph? How can he dance? Just as I said at the beginning of this conversation, when I tell people I'm a dancer, I can see in their reaction, oh, he thinks he's a dancer. But once I get in there, that talent is still there. That knowledge is still there. I just had to find different ways of communicating that. So now I use description, imagery, demonstrations, being able to translate movement just from my lower body to my upper body and using my arms as ways of demonstrating as well. So this whole exploration of ways of communicating, ways of connecting, and to get my message across, to explore my art form of dance. After my working with my own company, Marc Brew Company, I started working here in the Bay Area in Oakland with Access Dance Company. As I mentioned, Access is 32 years old, and we've been touring nationally and internationally throughout the world, bringing physically integrated dance. And we're a contemporary repertory dance company. And what it means is that we're a company of people, of humans, of very diverse cultures and backgrounds that incorporates people with physicalities, disabilities. And what's exciting about the work that we do is about trying to find that balance of symmetry from this diversity of cultures, difference, and backgrounds, and how they can work together. And the wonderful thing is that not one's the same, that it does bring this uniqueness, that one wouldn't be the other without them together. The fierceness, the combination of different physicalities, strengths, and what they bring together to create interesting, passionate, exhilarating dance. So it's been very much dance that has been my focus, dance that has helped me continue my career, and also to find that symmetry and that harmony and balance back in my life. And often in dance, we use symmetry a lot, one side and the other side being the same. And also asymmetry, how it could be different from one side to the other. So I think it's always that combination through the medium of dance and through our lives at Access Dance Company, how we can find that balance together and how we drive that forward. At Access Dance Company, we use the word translation a lot. When we have people who come in and teach for the company, who are non-disabled dancers or teachers, when we have choreographers who come and work with the company, there's often this moment of, oh, how do I embody somebody else's movement? Or how do I get somebody else's idea across to my body? And it's not always about trying to mirror exactly what that looks like. Because if someone has a different physicality, it's not going to look exactly the same. But how do we stay true to what that essence and what that quality is of that movement or of that idea and concept to embody in my own body? And that's where translation comes in for Access. Just as in language, when we're communicating in different languages, we're trying to stay true to what that translation is. And in dance, in integrated dance with Access Dance Company, we very much use that model of how do we translate existing movement vocabulary to our bodies, to our different bodies, and how do we still stay true to that essence and quality of material. And I think what really works for Access is that combination of diversity, the combination of all striving to do the best that we can. Often people have thought, oh, you're an integrated dance company, you work with people with disabilities. Oh, that means you're an amateur company, or you're not professional, or you're just doing it because that's a nice thing for disabled people to do. I'm like, no, where we are a professional company, we are fierce, we are out here to make a statement. And that statement is that we create high quality contemporary dance work that's going to move you, that's going to explode your minds, it's going to challenge you and your own preconceptions about what a dancer is, who can dance, and how we create dance. For me, personally, without dance, I don't feel like I am a whole person. It has always been a part of my identity, just as being an Australian is a part of my identity. I had to look at breaking down traditional ideas and perceptions of what society considers normal, because I didn't fit into that normal box anymore. And I had to create, in a way, my own pathway. At the time of my accident, I didn't know about these integrated companies. I didn't know about any other dancer that had acquired their disability. And the interesting thing that I then brought to the dance world is having that balance of both experiences. I experienced dancing and being a person without a disability, without a physical disability, and then acquiring a disability and changing my whole world, changing, and then growing and learning about that disability and how I could use that disability as a strength to really empower me and also to help me move forward to continue to pursue my passion of dance and choreography through the medium of dance. So at Access Dance Company, our mission is to change the face of dance and disability. And we do that through 3 pillars of activity. Artistry, which of course is our performance work that we do. Some of the photos that you've seen are from existing repertoire that we've been performing around the world. Engagement, which makes up pretty much 50% of all that we do. Because even though we have this artistry and these performances, it's about educating as well, to create opportunities for other people with and without disabilities to know that they can pursue a career in dance, or that they can enjoy the wonders and benefits of dance, even if they don't want to make it a career. And also through our engagement, how we bring communities together of diverse cultures, of people without disabilities, that through our workshops and our engagement activities, that everyone is welcome and everyone gets to communicate through their bodies. And it breaks down those barriers, it breaks down those preconceptions, because we're using our bodies to explore and build confidence and well-being and be able to communicate with each other. And our third pillar of activity is advocacy. And I feel like advocacy really filters through everything that we do. We advocate when we're on stage performing. We advocate now as I am speaking with you. We advocate through our education and outreach work that we do. So we really feel that advocacy really is embedded through all that we do at Access Dance Company. I'd love to know whether people here in our audience have seen or witnessed or experienced this type of work before. If anyone can. Great. And others, I hope you will, in the future, come to explore and experience the work that we do, and to find your own balance and harmony through the medium of dance. One never knows where one's life will take them. And I think I could have went in different directions. And I think having the arts, having culture, and being able to find and connect with that and be true to what it meant to me really did help me to become whole again and to find that balance in my life through my experiences as a dancer, but also as a person going through life-changing circumstances, and now encompassing this new life in a way with a disability, and being able to once again find that balance through my body now and who I am as a person. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Thank you.